Wake up, put your phone down, and pay attention. Thank you. Meet Bigger Thomas, a poor and uneducated 20-year-old black man based in 1930 Chicago South Side. Bigger is burdened with a powerful belief that he has no control over his life and he cannot do anything other than low-wage labor. Fear, anger, and frustration define Bigger's daily existence. He feels watched and trapped by the whites even when they're not present. Bigger sees whites not as individuals, but as a natural oppressive force. This is Mr. Dalton. Bigger works as his chauffeur and he is also Bigger's landlord. Mr. Dalton and other wealthy real estate barons are robbing the poor black tenants on Chicago's South Side. They refuse to allow blacks to rent apartments in white neighborhoods, therefore leading to overpopulation and artificially high rent. Although Mr. Dalton sees himself as a kind philanthropist because he donates money to black schools and offers jobs to poor, timid black boys like Bigger, Mr. Dalton only do these kind acts mainly to alleviate his guilty conscience for using the undeveloped black community. On Bigger's first day of work, he drives Mary, Mr. Dalton's daughter, to meet her communist boyfriend, Jan. Eager to prove their social tolerance and wanting to connect with Bigger, Mary and Jan force Bigger to take them to a restaurant in the South Side. After their long night, Mary is too drunk to make it to her bedroom on her own, so Bigger helps her up the stairs, drunk and aroused as he never been so close to a young white woman. Bigger begins to kiss Mary. Just as Bigger places Mary on her bed, Mary's blind mother, Mrs. Dalton, enters the room. Though Mrs. Dalton cannot see him, her ghost-like presence terrifies him. Bigger worries that Mary will reveal his presence. He covers her face with a pillow and accidentally suffocates her to death. Bigger tries to hide his crime by burning Mary's body in the Dalton's furnace. He frames Jan for Mary's disappearance. Bigger believes that the Daltons will assume Jan is dangerous and that he may have kidnapped the daughter for political purposes. Bigger takes advantage of the Daltons' belief to avoid suspicion, continue to play the role of a timid black servant. Mary's murder gives Bigger a sense of power and identity he has never known. Bigger's girlfriend Bessie makes an offhand comment that inspires him to try to collect ransom money from the Dalton family as they don't know Mary is dead. Bigger writes a ransom letter, signing his name Red, disguising him as part of the Communist Party. He then forces Bessie to take part in the ransom scheme. When Mary's bones are found in the furnace, Bigger flees with Bessie to an empty building. Bigger rapes Bessie and frightened that she will expose him. He kills her with a brick after she falls asleep. Bigger hides from the massive manhunt for as long as he can. However, he is eventually captured after an intense gunfight with the police. The enraged community assumes that Bigger raped Mary before killing her and burned her body to hide the evidence of the rape. Furthermore, the white authorities used Bigger's crime as an excuse to terrorize the entire South Side where many black people lost their jobs. Jan visits Bigger in jail. He brings his friend Boris A. Max, a lawyer to defend Bigger free of charge. Max tries to save Bigger from the death penalty, arguing that while Bigger is responsible for his crime, his action was the result of how people in society were treating him. Max continues saying that part of the blame for Bigger's crimes belonged to the fearful hopelessness existence that he has experienced in a racist society since birth. Max warns that there will be more men like Bigger if America does not put an end to the vicious cycle of hatred and revenge. Despite Max's arguments, Bigger is sentenced to death.
Created using Powtoon.